Are you tired of seeing students glued to their screen every time they have a free 2 or 3 minutes? In this episode, we're going to show you 4 fun screen-free games that you can play in your classroom. So here at Kingsford, we are a one-to-one school. Every student has a Chromebook, and I think that is a great idea. It is very helpful when it comes to organizing lessons via Google Classroom, having students watch videos on their own, and complete electronic assignments. But it seems like every single time that my students have 2 or 3 minutes at the end of a class, they are on their Chromebooks playing some kind of computer game. Most of those games don't involve any type of critical thinking or problem solving, and they bury their face in their screen with no concept of what's going on around them. So when we're talking about screen-free games, we're doing exactly the opposite. We are getting students to use critical thinking, problem solving, sometimes teamwork, but most importantly, interacting with the students around them in face-to-face conversations and not through a computer screen like we're doing right now. Another thing it does, because it's a game, is it safely allows students to fail without being embarrassed. A lot of times in a school environment, even if a student gets 1 or 2 questions wrong, it completely ruins their day. But that's not how life works. So by having games in the classroom where there's suspected to be just one winner, it's allowing us to practice that skill of maybe not being number one and then figuring out how to make ourselves better. I'm John Van Duzen. I've been an elementary and middle school teacher since 2007, as well as a coach. I'm also an officer in the United States Army Reserves, where I serve as an instructor for the Command and General Staff College. Teacher PD is designed to give fast lessons for busy teachers. Let's get after it. So the first game is Blackjack. Now, there's no need to do any type of gambling, but players can use just a simple deck of cards. Whoever the dealer will deal out 2 cards to every player. And the idea of the game is to get as close to 21 as you can without going over. It's a great way to teach addition, probability, as well as encourage collaboration if you're working as a small group. It also allows students to take safe risks inside the classroom. And still, even if you take a risk or if you don't take a risk, you don't have a guaranteed win or a guaranteed loss. And I have students that play this in our prime time, and they like to simply just rotate the dealer. They don't even keep score. They just play one hand at a time. Game number 2 is Uno. If you're like me when you were a kid, you love to play Uno. I was able to get 4 packs of Uno cards off Amazon for just a few dollars. Now, Uno can be super simple. We're simply matching colors and numbers, or it can be a strategic game when you have those wild cards, those draw 2s, draws 4s. It can also involve teamwork if 2 players are trying to team up on another player with their draw 2 and draw 4 to prevent them from winning. But the game of Uno really encourages respectful competition and emphasizes good sportsmanship, because in any game of Uno, there will be one winner and everybody else will be a loser. So again, it's that safety net of it's okay to lose because this is a game. So the third game is a little more advanced, and that is the game of chess. I have 2 or 3 boards floating around my classroom right now. And at the beginning of the year, we explain the basic rules for how to play. And I have some 8th graders that have already played a lot of chess and are pretty good at it. It really helps students focus on strategic thinking, problem solving, and also patience, because if you go gung-ho into a chess match and you make some foolish moves, you're probably going to lose. Another thing it does is it allows experienced players to actually mentor younger and beginner players, and allows those students that might not be a starter on the football team or the basketball court, but they're a good chess player. It allows them to be an expert in something and have others ask them for help. And chess is a really great game just to get your brain moving, get your brain thinking, and again, emphasize that respectful competition and sportsmanship. So the last screen-free game I've been playing lately in my classroom is Scattergories. How it's played is you have a list of items, so it might say type of car, type of vegetable, something you take to the beach. And there'll be a list of 10 items, and then there is a 26-sided dice, which you roll, and it provides you with a letter. Now, I've been doing this electronically on my smartboard, but you could also just pick a letter from random. And this is a great game because it can be played either by an individual, a small group, or an entire classroom. So as it goes through the list, let's say our letter was C, might say type of car. convertible, type of vegetable, carrot, something I take to the beach, calamine lotion, whatever it may be. So as you go through the list, when it's time to score after, say, 90 to 120 seconds, you only get points for those answers that are unique. So if somebody else put convertible, you both have to cross it off. If more than one person put carrot, you all have to cross it off. But if you're the only one that put calamine lotion, then you get a point. The categories can be tailored to your subject area, or it can be something you just do for fun. It can be played as an individual, or you can have students pair up with one another and play as small teams. You can also adjust the time limit. Like I said, between 90 to 120 seconds, you can actually make it 1 minute to just keep things moving and keep it high energy and keep the students having fun. So a couple challenges you could have, especially with the game of Uno that I ran into, is students have house rules that they play when they're at their home. This might involve the stacking of draw twos. This might be if you draw one card or you draw until you can play. And whenever there's a disagreement in my room, if the table can't figure it out on their own, I have them go back to the instructions with the game, and they have to follow those to a letter. Usually when they look at those instructions, they compromise and come up with a way that they can play with somebody's house rules or a version of those. Another challenge you might have is groups that always play Uno and groups that always play chess, so they kind of stay away from interacting with students they're not used to. A simple way to fix that problem is allow them to play one game 1 day per week. So if they play chess one day, the next day they have to play something else, and make sure that you're jigsawing those groups out so they have to play with other people and get that social interaction. Screen-free games, again, are a great way to get students to interact with each other face-to-face, to get their brain moving in critical and problem-solving ways, and also provide that safety net where saying, it's okay if you lose. This is a game. Just make yourself better next time. So what game do you want to try in your classroom? Or what game do you play that I didn't mention? Let us know down in the comments. And if you like this type of content, you can go to johnvanduzen.com and cruise around the For Teachers section. You'll find the podcast, you'll find some more videos, you'll find some books for sale, guided journals, all kinds of great stuff. And be sure to like, subscribe, and share this episode so you can share this fast teacher PD with other busy teachers.